The 17th of February 1903, Paris. Dear Sir, your letter only reached me a few days ago. Let me thank you for the great and endearing trust it shows. There's little more I can do. I cannot go into the nature of your verses, for any critical intention is too remote from me. There is nothing less apt to touch a work of art than critical words. All we end up with there is more or less felicitous misunderstandings. Hi guys, I've recently been reading a lot of work from the Austrian poet and novelist Rainer Maria Rilke, and in today's video I wanted to share with you some of his words from the Letters to a Young Poet. I find a lot of what Rainer says very inspirational and touching, so I wanted to share with you some of my favourite quotes from his letters. But first of all, just a little bit of information about him if you are not familiar with who he is. Rainer was an Austrian poet and novelist. He is widely recognised as a significant writer in the German language. He was born on the 4th of December 1875 and he died at the age of 51 on the 29th of December 1926 in Switzerland. And this is the collection of Rainer's work that I have. So I've got The Dark Interval, Letters for the Grieving Heart. These are a collection of letters that Rainer wrote to loved ones who had lost somebody, who were going through grief, and they are not your usual sorry for your loss. His words are just so beautiful, so meaningful and helpful. I also have Rainer's only novel that he wrote in 1910 while he was in Paris. And then I have Letters to a Young Poet. This book contains the 10 letters that Rainer wrote to a young poet. So there was this 19-year-old aspiring poet who wrote to Rainer asking for advice, and Rainer actually responded not once, but it was back and forth with this young poet for a number of years, and then the letters were published in 1929 after Rainer's death. So this is the book that I'm going to be quoting from for the rest of this video, just so you can really get a feel for Rainer's words if you have not read anything from him before. He is just so inspirational and just has a beautiful way with words. Something that I cannot explain well, so I just want to read to you his words. So I think that's the best way for me to show you his work. You ask whether your verses are good. You ask me that. You have asked others before. You send them to magazines. You compare them with other poems, and you worry when certain editors turn your effects down. Now, since you have allowed me to offer you advice, let me ask you to give up all that. You are looking to the outside, and that above all you should not be doing now. Nobody can advise you and help you, nobody. There's only one way. Go into yourself. Examine the reason that bids you to write. Check whether it reaches its roots into the deepest region of your heart. Admit to yourself whether you would die if it should be denied you to write. This above all. Ask yourself in your night's quietest hour, must I write? Dig down into yourself for a deep answer, and if it should be affirmative, if it is given to you to respond to this serious question with a loud and simple "I must," then construct your life according to this necessity. Your life right into its most inconsequential and slightest hour must become a sign and witness of this urge. Then approach nature. I should like to ask you, as best I can, dear sir, to be patient towards all that is unresolved in your heart, and to try to love the questions themselves like locked rooms, like books written in a foreign tongue. Do not now strive to uncover answers. They cannot be given you because you have not been able to live them. And what matters is to live everything. Live the questions for now. Perhaps then you will gradually, without noticing it, live your way into the answer one distant day in the future. There is only one solitude, and it is vast and not easy to bear, and almost everyone has moments when they would happily exchange it for some form of company, be it ever so banal or trivial, for the illusion of some slight correspondence with whoever one happens to come across, however unworthy. But perhaps those are precisely the hours when solitude grows, for its growth is painful like the growth of boys, and sad like the beginning of spring. But that must not put you off. What is needed is this, and this alone: solitude, great inner loneliness, going into oneself and not meeting anyone for hours. That is what one must arrive at. Loneliness of the kind one knew as a child, when the grown-ups went back and forth bound up in things which seemed grave and weighty because they looked so busy, and because one had no idea what they were up to. For imagining an individual's existence as a larger or smaller room reveals to us that most people are only acquainted with one corner of their particular room, a place by the window, a little area to pace up and down. That way they have a certain security, and yet the perilous uncertainty that drives the prisoners' imposed tales to grope out the outlines of their terrible dungeons, and so to know the unspeakable horrors of their surroundings, is so much more human. But we are not prisoners. There are no traps or snares set up around us, and there is nothing that should frighten or torment us. We are placed into life as into the element with which we have the most affinity, and moreover we have after thousands of years of adaptation come to resemble this life so closely that if we keep still we can, thanks to our facility of mimicry, hardly be distinguished from all that surrounds us. We have no reason to be mistrustful of our world, for it is not against us. How can we forget those ancient myths found at the beginnings of all peoples? The myths about the dragons who at the last moment turn into princesses. Perhaps all the dragons in our lives are princesses, only waiting for the day when they will see us handsome and brave. Perhaps everything terrifying is deep down a helpless thing that needs our help. You shouldn't be dismayed if a sadness rises up in front of you, greater than any you have ever seen before, or if a disquiet plays over your hands and over all your doings like light and cloud shadow. You must think that something is happening with you, that life has not forgotten you, that it holds you in its hand. It will not let you fall. Why should you want to exclude from your life all unsettling, all pain, all depression of spirit, when you don't know what work it is these states are performing within you? Why do you want to persecute yourself with the question of where it all comes from and where it is leading? You well know you are in a period of transition, and want nothing more than to be transformed. And if I have anything else to say to you, it is this: do not think that the person who is trying to console you lives effortlessly among the simple, quiet words that sometimes make you feel better. His life is full of troubles and sadness, and falls far short of them. But if it were any different, he could never have found the words that he did. Yours, Rainer Maria Rilke.